Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jim Norris from Backstage Insider. We're very lucky today to have Jason McCoy with us, and he's got sort of a dual personality, I guess you could call it. He's a star in his own right and also a member of the Roadhammers, which have some exciting things coming up. How are you doing today? How are things on the farm?
Things are well. The family just got home. The dogs are all barking. So real life is going on like right here. So, in the
That's
world of showbiz, it's nice to have life close by.
that's great. So, I just wanted to ask you about your early family influences? Were your family musical, or were they supportive of your musical career?
Well, they were definitely supportive. My dad played a few songs on the guitar. Like he played a few chords. His brother played, and played fiddle and stuff like that. But I guess my first memories of that are, Christmas and maybe some camping getaways. They'd break out the guitars at the campfire, that kind of thing. But that's
Oh,
that's
that's
how I
great.
got into music, though. I wanted to, learn the songs on the radio my dad was, playing on the guitar, and that's kinda how it started.
That's great. And at a fairly early age, you moved from Ontario to Alberta. And from what I
Yeah.
read, that sort of influenced your interest in country music.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So born in Barrie, Ontario, moved out to just near Camrose, I was about 3, maybe 4. We were out there till I was about 8, and, that's my first memories, are being out on the farm and, um, the radio station we listened to, CFCW, we go to you'd go to the Ponoka Stampede or something like that, and I had a little guitar, and I had a little CFCW sticker on it, and, I mean, it was country life, we lived on a farm, went to a country school, we had pigs, cows, the whole bit, had 1 horse, so it was real country.
For sure. One thing I noticed the first time I visited Alberta is that the people you see with cowboy hats are actually cowboys, whereas in
Yeah.
Ontario, you see someone with a cowboy hat, and it's like, well, probably not. Texas, of course, there's lots of cowboys, but in
Yeah.
Calgary and Edmonton, there's a lot of people, and that's how they earn their living. They
Yeah.
wrangle cows and live on a farm, so it certainly is a different life.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So how
when I was a kid, I mean, everybody wore well, I remember living out there, and, when I moved back to Ontario, I distinctly remember asking my parents why it was weird here because when you went to school, nobody was wearing boots and hats, and it was cowboy stuff, right? That's just what you wore, button down shirts, and it was different. Yeah, it's just a different way of life. But there's pockets all over Ontario, all over the world, where there's real, cowboys, cowgirls, cow people, and ranchers doing what they do.
That's for sure. So how old were you when you moved back to Ontario?
Oh, about 8 years old, so 70, 78. Yeah, so it was
Okay.
bit of a we came back to a farm community, but we weren't on a farm anymore. So that was a little different.
So you start somewhere on the age 7, you started playing guitar?
Well, I started playing out west, so I was just a little guy, but I didn't get serious probably till I was about 10. And my
Okay.
dad had an old guitar. It had 3 strings on it, and he said if I could learn a bit of a song on the 3 strings, he'd buy me a full set of 6. So it was just an old guitar in a closet. And that's true. So I learned, the song "Darlin'" by, I guess, well, Tom Jones. Johnny Reed's recorded it as well, but I never listened to any pop or rock and roll till I was like 18, 19. So I only knew it as a Barbara Mandrell song, and I was like, "This is such a great song." So I learned it, C, F, and G on the three strings. He was impressed enough. He bought me his full set of 6.
Excellent. Do you remember what kind of guitar that was, your first one?
I do. It was a Harmony Stella, and it is hanging in the Country Music Hall of Fame in Calgary.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. So then, when at what point did you start, playing for audiences and recording and such?
Well, I started. writing when I was about 12, 13. And then I probably started performing around here at dances. I was 16. And the first band I was in was called, well, it was Archie and Debbie. It was a husband and wife duo. And I was the guitar player. He played drums, she played bass. And then my uncle saw an ad in the local paper for a band called Three Quarter Country that played legions and dance halls all around here, and they needed a guitar player. So I went and auditioned, and we started playing all those places. And that's where I mean, it was all country to the core. And then, but 17 years old, I saw an ad in the paper. I think it was the Toronto Sun that said, "Country band looking for guitar player, need to travel immediately." And this was on a Friday. I went to Toronto and auditioned on Saturday, and on Monday, I was in a bus, and we were on our way to Calgary. So that was it
Wow,
was, trial by fire, and we were on the road, and that was it.
that's incredible. So that all happened pretty fast.
Well, it was a lot of years of playing, dance halls and legions and clubs around here, and which is it's still got probably the softest spot in my heart because, that's where I learned how to play guitar in front of people, and that's something a lot of maybe kids don't have the opportunity or young musicians don't have that opportunity these days to play, bars, legions, things like that. Live music just doesn't seem as frequent, as when I was starting out. But then, we went on the road, we play 4 hours a night, and we play 6 nights, every week, and you really learn how to become an entertainer, you learn your craft as a singer, as a player, so it was a wonderful time.
Excellent. And when did you do your first, record?
Well, my first record was I won a contest when I was about 15 in Barrie, and, I got to record 2 or 3 songs at a local studio here. The owner's name's Greg Beacock, and I still know Greg. He's a drummer, and he built the only professional studio in our hometown here, and, really showed me the ropes, but then 16 years old, went to Nashville, and Ray Griff produced a record on me. We did 10 songs, released it on cassette, which I still have those. And
Well,
that led to recording some more on my own when I was 19, 20. And then MCA came calling after we released a couple of songs to radio that did fairly well independently. And that led to a full record deal.
excellent. That's great. So you've traveled all over the place and played all kinds of places coast to coast, and I guess in the United States as well?
Oh yeah, we did 2 trips to Australia this year. We did, we played in China, Afghanistan, Spain, France, you name it, we played it. So I think, it's been amazing, where the guitar and, making up stuff that rhymes is, taking me around the world. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, music is a even if it didn't take me anywhere than outside my hometown, the, relationships and, probably the windows that's opened up inside me have taken me more places than I could ever have dreamed, it just as you're exploring yourself, your own creativity, right? But geographically, it's taken me all over the world.
Excellent. So how do you balance your career with your home life? Because obviously you've got a family and dogs and a farm to look after. How do you balance all of that?
I don't. It's a wreck. We're all a big wreck. It's really hard. I've been doing this. I talk to my wife about this a lot. Um, as I want to slow down as far as the traveling goes, we're super busy. We still got all these offers. We're traveling all over the world still. Like I said, this year alone, we've been to Australia twice. But I find that as I get older, I want to still play, but I don't have the restless fear in me that I, have to get out and see something because I've seen a lot. But what I do really enjoy is working with younger artists who are on that trajectory, Even though the Road Hammers and myself, we're still super busy, got a new record out, all these dates coming up in the new year. It's a different motivation, right? You want to go out and do the shows that you have, but you want to do them because there's a passion in you to play. It's not like you have to go see that part of the world because you've seen it, but now you want to prove something, to yourself.
Right. So when you say you work with younger artists, how does that come about? Or I guess if there's a younger artist watching this, how would they get in touch with you to explore that further?
Oh, it's usually relationship based. I write with all sorts of different artists, working with a young guy named Andrew Swift out of Australia right now, and our publicist and his publicist are the same. So you make that connection, but and you don't have to write with established writers to get ahead. I mean, there's so many writing with people within your peer group and being young artists together and writing together and having a community of your own that's super important because that's what I did. I didn't know any big hit songwriters and anybody. I just write with the people who are in the band or, anybody I knew. And it's more important to write with people that encourage you than just hit songwriters.
For sure. So tell me about how the Road Hammers came to exist. That was, I think, 2010. Um, how did
Uh
that new project
yeah, it
for
was
you come about?
2000. Yeah, 2005 actually. So we're celebrating
Okay.
our 20th year this year. And so
Wow.
I just came off my second CCMA Male Artist of the Year win. And I didn't know what to do because country music, as it does so often, it was fracturing. It was going more pop or more traditional, and I was kind of right in the middle. I didn't know where my home was as a solo artist, so I didn't want to make another record right away. Um, but I was talking to my friend at CMT, Ted Ellis, who it was at the time when reality shows were a big deal. So he wanted to do a behind the scenes of somebody making a record, and I thought, well, I want to make an album of trucker songs from when I was a kid. I listened to these LPs and I loved it. And he said, well, let's put together an all-star band. And we started doing that. And then I said, well, what if we put together a whole new band? And so we did. And we did the whole thing on camera. We had 2 seasons on CMT and it was on GAC in America and it got played all through Australia. And so right off the bat, the band was this massive hit, but it was thanks to Ted Ellis, thanks to all the folks who fell in love with the music as much as we did.
Excellent. So you've got some new tour dates coming up, I notice, and
Yeah.
new record. Tell us about those two things.
Sure. Well, as we celebrate our 20th year, we're going on the road and doing some shows with Doc Walker, who are celebrating 25 years coming up in 2026. And it's a pretty exciting time because I've been involved with the Doc Walker guys and vice versa for many years. I wrote Rocket Girl for them. Gosh, I forget what year it was, but, and I work with Doc Walker on the Great Canadian Road Trip as well. So we're going to head out and we've got 5 shows with them. We're going to be playing Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Regina, and Kitchener, Ontario. Excuse me, getting over a cold here. But it's fun, going out with 2 bands on one bill because we're big fans of each other's music. And then on top of that, we've got a brand new single out. It's the name of the tour, Till the Wheels Fall Off. And this is our first single going to rock radio. So people have always told us, you guys are almost as much of a rock band as you are a country band. And so like that's great.
Right.
Just means we're loud. Love it. So we asked a few friends of ours from the rock world to join us. So we have Ian Thornley from Big Wreck and Tyler Connolly from Theory of a Dead Man are on the track as well. So we're
Wow.
definitely turning up the heat on it.
Well, that's excellent. That's great. So, the last record you did, where was that recorded?
Well, we recorded some at Sound Emporium in Nashville, which we've made most of our records there.
Right.
And everybody's recorded there from Keith Whitley and Don Williams to you name it, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks. But and then we went in with this guy Alan Salmon, who came to us through mutual friends Tim and the Glory Boys, and we only know his music, or I only knew his music from country music and the records he's produced on country radio. So we get there one day and we're like, what if we made a rock record? Something like AC/DC meets Leonard Skinner kind of meets old trucker music. So we created like what we wanted in a classic rock song. There's no new classic rock songs, but we did our best to, write one.
So I also noticed too that you have a one of your many lives that you have a career in radio as well. So that's carried in Aurelia and I guess on syndicated radio as well. Tell us how
It
that came
is,
about.
yeah. It is. I've always loved radio when we're out on the road. We'd go in and visit radio stations. I'd go in as an artist and I'd talk to the DJs, and I'd always stay behind. They'd have to drag me out of the radio station because I was fascinated by if I wasn't a singer, I'd probably just be, a straight radio guy because I love to talk a little too much sometimes, but I love to interface with people. So I always find my guitar and the songs I sang. I learned to do those things just so I could travel and meet people, and that's pretty much the truth. But with radio, I get to be around people who love the same thing I do, which is country music, and so I get kind of a front row seat to all the new music. I get to play, the best of the artists that I love, and it's probably the best gig in the world.
So who are your favorite artists when you're on air?
Well, it depends which show because I do mornings on Pure Country 106, and so that's all modern release country. So one of my favorites there would be Ella Langley, choosing Texas, which is just it's kind of a throwback to classic George Strait, and it's just fantastic. But I also do nothing but the '90s on the weekends, so that's a syndicated show, and we play '90s. So I get to play my peers like Michelle Wright and Charlie Major and all these great Canadians. But we played Brooks and Dunn. We had Shenandoah on the show. We had all these different artists who helped shape what I do. They're my contemporaries, my peers.
Well, that's great. So what are your future plans for your various careers? What do you see happening in the next year or two?
Well, I'd like some life advice from Jim is what I'd like. I don't know what to do. Actually, uh, I know that you're involved in, lots of different podcasts, lots of different ventures, and I'm sure like yourself, it's hard to say no to these great opportunities, but I think I have to be a little more selective moving ahead. Um, and really just make the projects that I am involved in really count. Very focused on our new record label, Sky Song Records. We got our fancy hats here. So, myself, Dan Davidson, Clayton Bellamy, and Craig Sennick are, on this wild adventure of finding a new way to bring new artists to the music scene here in Canada and around the world.
That's great. Yeah, I think what you say is true. You really have to focus, and the as the years go by, the thrill of traveling kind of fades. You have to be pretty selective where you go. And at this time of
Yeah.
year, somewhere warm is a good plan at this time of year. Mind you, you're going to Alberta, so that's not exactly warm in January.
It's okay. They have, indoor heat and all that fancy stuff with their natural gas. But I still have the desire to travel. I think Australia 17 hours across, one way is pretty taxing when you do that a couple of times in a year. But
Yeah,
I just I find that it's and also being in radio, getting to hear these new artists, uh it's it's pretty inspiring to be able to still do or it's inspiring to hear these young artists, and it's amazing to be able to still tour the way we do and be on the same shows as these young artists. Because now, we're the elder statesmen, right? And there's a bit of wisdom to that. I hope and people ask us advice all the time. They're always asking me, career advice and maybe some road life advice and things like that. I Time has passed so quick. I almost feel like I'm not qualified or old enough to answer those questions. But then I have to step back and go, yeah, we've done a lot of that, so I guess I can give some advice, good, bad, or indifferent.
well, especially for people that are just starting, because you did that a long time ago. And I think that the main thing is to stop people from making terrible mistakes in their career. They don't know what's going to happen, but you get cases where people sign bad record deals or sign with a bad manager, and you want people to avoid those things
Yeah, and it's, those things are, you can navigate those things. I think the bigger things are, realizing this isn't a short game, that the people that you're with at the beginning are most likely the people you're going to be with, throughout your career. It's a small sandbox, and everybody's got to play together. And I think as a young artist, you're so self-absorbed. I don't know that I understood how valuable that advice would have been to, just be aware of the people that you're going to be working with at the time. That it's a community, and you have to support each other, and you have to, yeah, everything has to rise together. But seeing young artists, and it's a whole new crop of producers, a whole new crop of writers, and musicians and everything, and crew, and then all of a sudden you look back and you think of all the people you came up with. You're like, oh yeah, this is a crop. Like, we're growing a new crop here, and it's pretty neat to see.
for sure. So, Jason, I'd really like to thank you for your time today and all the best in all your future endeavors. On the listing for this, I'll post your website. Well, actually, both websites, so people can
Sure.
have a look at the dates and um, check out the recordings that have just come out. And have a great time in Alberta.
Oh, we will. So Alberta, we're going to be Edmonton, Calgary, Regina, Winnipeg, and back here in Kitchener, Ontario. Also, Fallsview Casino with Doc and Michelle Wright. So that'll be February 21. But hey, check out the website, check us on socials, and we can't wait to see you on the road.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Take care.
All right. Enjoy the day. Thanks for taking the time.